to the Faculty of Engineering's first ever virtual prizes and awards ceremony for the academic year 2019-2020. Welcome. Today we celebrate the top performers in the faculty. Their hard work and dedication should not go unnoticed at this time in this global pandemic. As we keep striving for excellence, we have an obligation to recognize our students and to encourage them to stand up and be counted. With this in mind, I take this opportunity to welcome Professor Edward Ekwe, the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis. Greetings, everyone. We are engaged in this virtual setting to celebrate the achievements of our students. This prize award ceremony provides us an opportunity to reward our students who have excelled in our various engineering programs. We say congratulations for their achievements. We also extend our congratulations to the parents and the families of the recipients of the awards, who have supported our students throughout their study. This ceremony also provides us an opportunity to thank the sponsors of the prizes, for without them, this event would not take place. We are extremely grateful for their great benevolence. We are extremely grateful to the new sponsors, particularly our own academic colleagues, who came out to fill in and award prizes to our students at a very short notice. We are very grateful. As the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, I am very proud of our students and urge them all to continue their excellence. Those of you who are still in their studies should continue to excel. The graduating students should extend their excellence to their workplaces or places of further study. Continue to shine and do not ever lay down your guard. Let the sky remain your limit. Employers are always looking for creative and innovative individuals who are problem solvers. They're also looking for individuals who are entrepreneurial and accomplishments oriented. They desire graduates such as yourselves who are very intelligent, with an enduring self-belief and personal confidence that could ensure success in organizations in this rapidly changing world. Remember that UWI education has equipped you with the mental capability to source whatever knowledge you need to become the best that you can be. So please go out there and shine in the world. Represent us well as you move from success to success in this world. As a dean, my role is to continue to build on the great things the past deans before me have done, and to introduce new things so that we could continue to excel. We must remain relevant to our enabling community, the country, and the region as a whole. Hence, we must be actively engaged in reviewing our course offerings and introducing new courses and programs to meet the demands of a dynamically changing world. We also engage in consolidating some of our programs to make them more relevant to the society at this time. The world is still battling with COVID-19, and there is now light in the tunnel with the vaccines that have been developed. Let us hope that this pandemic world will soon be a thing of the past. But before then, please continue to observe all the necessary health protocols. This pandemic period has forced us to be more innovative and very creative. All our classes are now delivered online, something everyone thought in the past was impossible. How can you teach engineering courses online? Many people asked in the past. Many of our meetings in the university are now virtual. Even the 2020 graduation ceremonies of this university and those of many other universities in the world were held in a virtual mode. And so is this ceremony. A new normal is now being created, and we will never go back fully to the old ways of doing things when things become normal. At the suspension of the face-to-face teaching in the university last year, because of COVID-19, some students in the faculty were provided with additional facilities to enable their continued learning. In some cases, older computers from the labs were provided to the students through the deputy principal's office. Requests were made to vendors to make available license codes to allow students to use some of the computer applications from their personal machines. Engineers are meant to assist the wider society at the time of crisis. Our Faculty of Engineering did not disappoint. The faculty embarked on a project to design and manufacture essential equipment for patients, medical professionals, and the general public to help in the fight against COVID-19. The project brought together manufacturers, business community, scientists, private citizens, and even nationals abroad to provide ventilators, face shields, face masks for medical personnel, and cloth masks. Thanks to our campus principal, Professor Brian Copeland, and Mr. Jivan Prasad, a senior engineering technician in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, who led the charge. We are very grateful to them. Despite the COVID-19, the faculty hosted the International Conference on Emerging Trends in Engineering and Technology, which featured international participants and staff from all the 5 departments of the faculty. The conference was conducted virtually using the Zoom platform over the days from June 1st to 5th, 2020. The proceedings have been published in the conference website. The faculty extends thanks to Professor Bapana Chowdhury and his team for their tremendous efforts in organizing this conference. Many great things happened in our faculty this last year. The pre-engineering program was transferred from the Open campus to the Faculty of Engineering at St. Augustine. The Department of Chemical Engineering's self-financing MSc Petroleum Engineering program was conducted at the University of Guyana for the first time. The department acquired the $3 million facility, world-class rock mechanics facilities for teaching, research, commercial services, and to become fully operational. The Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering built on their initiatives, which resulted in the successful reaccreditation of its undergraduate and postgraduate programs. The department was successful in continuing to provide quality teaching and alternative assessments for the students. The Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering maintained collaborative arrangements with several regional and international institutions, including Caribbean Telecommunications Union, the International Telecommunications Union, IBM, and others. The Department of Geomatics Engineering and Land Management continued to distinguish itself locally, regionally, and in the wider international community, receiving honors and recognition from UWI and other tertiary academic institutions. The Department of Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering coordinated a seminar on 3D printing in the Caribbean industry, and this was followed by a public lecture on why buildings matter. The industrial engineering team hosted the 12th public seminar on project management practices in the Caribbean. I cannot end this address without complimenting the activities of our hard-working staff in the Faculty of Engineering. They continue to strive and achieve great goals. I wish to mention in particular Rafi Hussain, who was promoted to the rank of professor, and Dr. Arvind Singh, who was promoted to the rank of senior lecturer. Our students have shown great resilience despite the increased workload that they are exposed to, because most of our courses are now offered as 100% coursework due to COVID-19. In closing, I must thank again all our high-achieving students and their parents, their families and well-wishers, our sponsors, our featured speaker, our special invitees, the organizers of this event, and everyone who has contributed in making this event successful. Thanks, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the ceremony. God bless you all.
Professor Jupiter has been recognized locally, regionally, and internationally, specifically on the African continent, for his contribution to the development of the oil and gas industry by the Society of Petroleum Engineers, the International Association of Materials, Minerals and Mining, and the Association of International Petroleum Negotiators. Let us now welcome Professor Jupiter.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis. Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Professor Edwin Ekwe, heads of department, coordinators, students, well-wishers, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my privilege to address you, the prize and award recipients who have excelled in the Faculty of Engineering during the academic year 2019-2020. I'm especially pleased to join with the faculty in celebrating your remarkable achievements, which have been earned during a year of extraordinary challenges precipitated by the global coronavirus pandemic. Our theme today is therefore apt: overcoming adversity, the true test of excellence. May I say that your being part of this illustrious company today is evidence of your capacity to overcome adversity. In 2020, you demonstrated your ability to adapt to change while maintaining a laser focus on your goals. Though it will have been difficult to operate in an atmosphere of uncertainty without our familiar patterns of social interaction, you preserved, embracing new ways of connecting and learning, and in the end, overcame the adversity posed by COVID-19. For that accomplishment, we congratulate you. In examining the theme, I was impressed with its realism. It paints a realistic picture in revealing two facts. One, excellence will be tested, and two, adversities will come. Adversities, difficulties, hardships, impediments will come in various forms. Permit me for a few moments to reflect on three sources of adversity that you can expect to encounter in your lives and careers. The first you are likely to face will be derived from the physical and mental challenges endemic in the work you will undertake. By its very nature, engineering is about finding solutions to problems. If we have done our jobs well here at the university, and judging by the prizes and awards being presented today, I'm confident that we have. You are well prepared, therefore, to handle this type of adversity. You possess the intellectual curiosity required to engage in the search for answers, and you are equipped with rigorous tools and methodologies to guide the process. We in the Faculty of Engineering feel assured that the same fortitude, innovativeness, and resoluteness you displayed during your time at the university will serve you well in dealing with any technical obstacles that will arise from your work. Since I've determined to keep it real with you, I must inform you that the second source for adversity you will encounter will be people. At some point in your life and or your career, you'll be faced by people who represent an obstacle that you will need to overcome. However, people are far more complex than any mathematical or engineering problem. And people cannot be solved or resolved. They cannot be. So how do you overcome this adversity with excellence? Allow me to share a few lessons I've learned from my journey. In 1971, I was hired as a trainee to work in the refining operations, maintenance department at Shell Trinidad Limited in Point Fortin. Having passes at GC advanced level, I had more formal education than many of the men who staffed the department. However, at only 19 years old, I lacked experience and needed a strategy for coexistence with my colleagues that will allow me to be accepted into the team. The first part of my strategy was to be respectful. I have found throughout my long and varied career, whether at home or abroad, courtesy and respect can shape people's perception of you and open many doors. The second strategy I employed to always be teachable. When you graduate from the university and become practicing engineers, that's when the real learning begins. If you adopt the attitude that everyone has something to contribute and you practice listening, you'll be amazed at how much you can learn and how willing people will be to assist you. Stephen Covey said, most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. I urge you as aspiring engineers, cultivate the skill of listening with the intent to understand people, and even beyond understanding, to learn. Years after leaving Shell and completing my undergraduate studies at UWI St. Augustine, I was blessed to be awarded a scholarship to pursue the Masters of Engineering at the Pennsylvania State University in Mineral Engineering Management. At Penn State, I was surrounded by students from different parts of the world, and as a West Indian, I was part of the minority. There I learned how to achieve excellence by being confident and assertive. However, my confidence was derived from consistent and dedicated preparation. As young people, you'll have strong points of view. Always ensure that you do the work to back up your point. Then and only then can you make your argument or present your ideas with confidence, tempered with grace. I was honored to serve in various capacities at the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, from Petroleum Engineer 1 to Permanent Secretary. Let me state, in over 25 years working at the ministry, I had many achievements, but not one of my achievements would have been possible without my team. Young people, no engineer is an island. Learning to be a team player is one of the most important skills you can develop. Because in the real world, you will find that people are more important than numbers. The third and final source of adversity I would like you to be aware of is the adversity that will come from yourself. As human beings, we can often get into our own way. When we make wrong choices and do not uphold the standards that we know are right, we set ourselves up for failure. And as engineers, our failures can have catastrophic impacts. To illustrate my point, let me recount the case of the Hyatt Regency walkway collapse, which is taken from the American Society of Civil Engineers. In July 1980, the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Kansas City, Missouri, opened for business, boasting among its design features a multi-story atrium with 3 suspended walkways, a 4th walkway spanning directly above a walkway on the 2nd floor. 1 year after the opening, the walkways on the 2nd and 4th stories collapsed under the weight of party-goers, killing 114 people in one of the most devastating structural failures in United States history. The engineer of record attributed the fatal design flaw to a breakdown in communication. He stated that he had assigned supervision of the project to an associate structural engineer. He further contended that it was common practice in industry for the structural engineer to leave the design of steel-to-steel connections to the fabricator. Let me state that the following investigation into this incident, the engineer of record was suspended for 3 years. In retrospect, he attributed the disastrous event to a breakdown in communication. I tend to agree with this position. Students, the integrity of your work is measured against predetermined standards. The question for you today is, against what standards are you measuring yourself? In this event, which I stated, the lead engineer and everyone in the chain of command failed to exercise due diligence, failed to communicate, failed to measure their own work against the required standards, and ultimately failed to take responsibility for their actions. For example, students, you need to take responsibility for your actions for the following. When you compile your CV, do you paint a true picture of your character and experience, or do you embellish to the point of exaggeration? The integrity of your work must only ever be surpassed by the integrity of your character. In closing, let me leave with you the words of Will Durant, who paraphrased Aristotle. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. May you continue to nurture the habit of excellence in your work, in your interpersonal relationships, and in yourselves. Congratulations again on your awards. I thank you.
Now, I would like to introduce to you Professor Rafi Hussein, the head of the Chemical Engineering Department.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis, for that introduction. The Department of Chemical Engineering extends congratulations to all our students in their outstanding performance and achievements. We are very proud of you. Congratulations.
Department of Chemical Engineering, MSc Engineering, Chemical and Process Engineering, Naresh Rimal, for the student with the highest score in the advanced level course CHNG 6302, the MSc Research Project, sponsored by New Iron Unlimited in the amount of $5,000. MSc Food Science and Technology, Ashley Best, for the student obtaining the highest mark in Preservation and Processing of Meat and Poultry, FOST 6007, sponsored by Fine Choice Meats Limited in the amount of $1,000. Ashley Best, for the student obtaining the highest mark in Fundamentals of Food Process Engineering, FOST 6000, sponsored by Angostura Limited in the amount of $1,000. Ashley Best and Natasha Anderson, for the students obtaining the highest mark in Food Quality Assurance, FOST 6006, sponsored by the Kiss Baking Company in the amount of $1,000. Crystal O'Neill, for the student obtaining the highest mark in Food Microbiology, FOST 6005, sponsored by Florette Smith Felix in the amount of $1,000. Natasha Anderson, for the student obtaining the highest mark in Food Chemistry, FOST 6003, sponsored by Arawak and Company Limited in the amount of $1,000. Shanita Ramnarain, for the student obtaining the highest mark in Literature Survey, FOST 6018, sponsored by Dr. Sahida Mujaffar in the amount of $1,000. MSc Reservoir Engineering, Terry-Ann Sobrian, for the best all-round student in the MSc Reservoir Engineering program, sponsored by BP Trinidad and Tobago, BPTT in the amount of $5,000. Leanne Morales, for the best student in Level 1 Chemical and Process Engineering, sponsored by Proman Trinidad and Tobago, Proman Limited in the amount of $1,000. Kernice Ramjari, for the best all-round Level 1 student currently in Level 2 in the Petroleum Geoscience program, sponsored by Schlumberger in the amount of $2,500. Kernice Ramjari, for the Level 1 student with the best academic performance and continuing in Level 2 Petroleum Geoscience, sponsored by the Geological Society of Trinidad and Tobago in the amount of $1,000. Daniel Lord, for the best student in Level 2 Chemical and Process Engineering, sponsored by Proman Trinidad and Tobago, Proman Limited in the amount of $2,000. Arun Ramkisoon, for the Level 2 student with the best academic performance and continuing in Level 3 Petroleum Geoscience, sponsored by the Geological Society of Trinidad and Tobago in the amount of $1,000. Selina Mohammed, for the best all-round Level 2 student currently in Level 3 Petroleum Geoscience program, sponsored by Schlumberger in the amount of $2,500. Isaac James, for the student graduating with the most outstanding Chemical and Process Engineering Design project, sponsored by the Association of Professional Engineers of Trinidad and Tobago, APET, in the amount of $2,000. Isaac James, for the student producing the best Chemical and Process Engineering Design project, sponsored by New Iron Unlimited in the amount of $5,000. Abigail Clark, for the student with the best energy industry-related final year project in Chemical and Process Engineering, sponsored by the Society of Petroleum Engineers Trinidad and Tobago Section, SPET, in the amount of $1,500. Renisha Hercules, for the student producing the best Chemical and Process Engineering research project, sponsored by the National Energy Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago in the amount of $2,500. Renisha Hercules, for the student graduating with the best academic performance in the Chemical and Process Engineering program, sponsored by Proman Trinidad and Tobago, Proman Limited in the amount of $3,000. Aliyah Ali, for the student producing the best Petroleum Geoscience final year project, sponsored by Trinity Exploration and Production Limited in the amount of $5,000. Mikhail Stout, For the student graduating with the best academic performance in petroleum geoscience, sponsored by the Geological Society of Trinidad and Tobago in the amount of $1,000. Rishma Prasad. For the best all-round student graduating from the Petroleum Geoscience program, sponsored by Schlumberger in the amount of $2,500.
And now we have greetings from the head of the Civil and Environmental Engineering Department, Dr. Trevor Fowson.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis, for that introduction. On behalf of the staff of the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, I would like to congratulate all of our awardees as well as our graduates. You have had to transition in the middle of your second semester into a completely remote environment, and you did that splendidly. I am sure that the resilience and the adaptability that you showed will help you as you continue along your path of those of you who are still here and your careers, those of you who are graduating, so that we are looking forward to so many great things from you. Thank you once again for what you have done. Congratulations for all of your achievements, and we continue to look forward to your progress.
Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, MSc Coastal Engineering, Avinash Budu. For the student with the highest overall GPA in the MSc Coastal Engineering Management program who did not repeat any courses, sponsored by Coastal Dynamics Limited in the amount of $1,000. Navin Salik. For the best graduate research project in MSc Coastal Engineering and Management, sponsored by Trinidad and Tobago National Petroleum Marketing Company Limited in the amount of $2,500. Navin Salik. For the most outstanding graduate of the MSc Coastal Engineering Management program, sponsored by the Trinidad and Tobago National Petroleum Marketing Company Limited in the amount of $2,500. MSc Construction Engineering, Rudy Rambali. For the student obtaining the highest mark in Construction Accounting and Finance, sponsored by Alpha Engineering and Design 2000 Limited in the amount of $1,000. Michelle Sulis. For the student obtaining the highest mark in Contract Management and Construction Law, COEM 6009, sponsored by Kusals Construction Company Limited in the amount of $1,000. Michael Guelmo. For the best student in Level 1 Civil Engineering, sponsored by Lauriston Lewis Associates Limited, Bill Messiah Percy Phillips Memorial in the amount of $1,000. Shireen Boxil. For the best student Level 2 Civil Engineering, sponsored by Danny's Enterprise Company Limited in the amount of $1,500. Andrew Fonsett. For the Level 2 student who had the most improved overall performance during his or her first year, sponsored by Key Shanuna Limited, Thomas Shanuna, in the amount of $1,000. Andrew Williams. For the best student who is a national of Trinidad and Tobago in Level 2 and not on scholarship, sponsored by Lauriston Lewis Associates Limited, Bill Messiah Percy Phillips Memorial in the amount of $1,100. Randall Yearwood. For the best student in Theory of Structures, including Design coursework at Level 2 Civil Engineering, sponsored by Lauriston Lewis Associates Limited, Bill Messiah Percy Phillips Memorial in the amount of $1,000. Rajiv Ramsamuj. For the Level 2 student obtaining the highest mark in the course Civil Management, sponsored by IDC Imber in the amount of $1,000. Amanda Hendy. For the student graduating with the best academic performance in the Civil with Environmental Engineering program, sponsored by the Society of Petroleum Engineers Trinidad and Tobago Section, SPET, in the amount of $1,500. Amanda Hendy. For the student obtaining the highest grade in CVNG 3009, sponsored by Danny's Enterprise Company Limited in the amount of $1,500. Amir Singh and Shakil Felician. For the graduating students obtaining a mark of 70% and above in CVNG 2001, sponsored by Mutilal Munan Engineering and Construction TNT Limited in the amount of $1,500. Amaya Daniel. For the student obtaining the highest mark from a first attempt of the course CVNG 3001 Structural Engineering, sponsored by Liang and Partners in the amount of $2,000. Fayaz Mohammed. For the student obtaining the highest grade in CVNG 3010 first attempt, sponsored by Dr. Trevor Townsend in the amount of $1,000. Carla Bovell. For the graduating student who had the most improved overall performance during the second year, sponsored by Key Shanuna Limited, Thomas Shanuna, in the amount of $1,000. Rajan Jameson and Davin Dionath. For the graduating student with a B+ or above in CVNG 3011, Pavement Design and Management, sponsored by Kusals Construction Company Limited, in the amount of $2,000. Saron Franco. For the student producing the best Level 3 project in the area of geotechnics, sponsored by Lauriston Lewis Associates Limited, Lauriston Lewis Memorial, in the amount of $2,500. Shaquille Felicien. For the student producing the best civil engineering design project, sponsored by the Association of Professional Engineers of Trinidad and Tobago, APET, in the amount of $2,000. Shaquille Felicien. For the graduating student with the highest average from the courses CVNG 1007, CVNG 2008, CVNG 2009, and CVNG 3005, sponsored by KS&P Limited, in the amount of $3,000. Shaquille Felicien. For the best graduating student in structural analysis and design courses, CVNG 3002, CVNG 3003, including coursework, sponsored by Lauriston Lewis Associates Limited, Bill Messiah Percy Phillips Memorial, in the amount of $1,000. Shaquille Felicien. For the graduating civil engineering student obtaining the highest mark in coursework including design over the 3-year period, sponsored by the Trinidad Engineering and Research 1978 Limited, BG Singh, in the amount of $1,500. Ivani Fagan. For the best undergraduate student in coastal engineering, sponsored by Trinidad and Tobago National Petroleum Marketing Company Limited, in the amount of $2,500. Maya Ford. For the student producing the best Level 3 special project in the area of environmental, sponsored by the Trinidad and Tobago National Petroleum Marketing Company Limited, in the amount of $2,500.
Next up, greetings from the head of the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, Dr. Fazil Mudin.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis, for that introduction. Good day, everyone, and happy 2021. Congratulations on your fantastic achievements. Remember that I did tell you all that if you did well, there were prizes to be won. Well done, all of you, especially considering how unpredictable 2020 was. I'm especially happy that we were able to award the prize to the most innovative special project for the first time ever after a long wait. So as the principal, Professor Copeland, loves to say, the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering is shockingly good. Continue to excel.
Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, Lane Amichan. For the best outstanding Level 1 student in the Electrical and Computer Engineering program, sponsored by Vertana Incorporated, in the amount of $1,000. Shannon Brown. Level 1 student obtaining the highest mark in communication skills for engineers, sponsored by Professor Stefan Gift, in the amount of $2,500. Enrique Ramkisoon and Kevin Sanka. For the student producing the highest mark in Communication Systems 1, sponsored by the Real-Time Systems Group, in the amount of $1,000. Adidev Supnanan. For the Level 3 student producing the most innovative special project, sponsored by Izanos Limited, in the amount of $2,000. Antonio Dieterville. For the most outstanding student in the Computer Systems Engineering option, sponsored by Vertana Incorporated, in the amount of $6,000. Daniel Gladstone. For the most outstanding student graduating from the Electrical and Computer Engineering program, sponsored by Caribbean Airlines Limited, airline tickets. Daniel Gladstone. For the most outstanding Level 3 special project in energy systems, sponsored by the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, in the amount of $1,000. Lyndon Samuel. For the student producing the highest mark in industrial and commercial electrical systems, sponsored by the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, TNTEC, in the amount of $1,000. Lyndon Samuel. For the best student in the energy systems option, sponsored by the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, in the amount of $6,000. Lorenzo Pariag and Dylan Gobadan. For the student producing the highest mark in control systems, sponsored by Process Management Limited, in the amount of $1,000. Tariq Mohammed, for the most outstanding student in the Communication Systems option, sponsored by Columbus Communications, in the amount of $6,000. Tariq Mohammed, for the student producing the highest average mark in Data Communication Systems and Telecommunication Networks, sponsored by Teleios Systems Limited, in the amount of $1,000. Tariq Mohammed, for the student producing the highest mark in Communication Systems 2, sponsored by KVR Energy Limited, in the amount of $1,000. Eric Cooper, for the most outstanding student in the Control Systems option, sponsored by Process Management Limited, in the amount of $6,000.
And now, to bring you greetings from the Department of Geomatics Engineering and Land Management, the breadwinner of the faculty, Dr. Michael Sutherland.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis, for your introduction. Heartfelt congratulations to all students who, by their academic achievements, are recognized by the Faculty of Engineering with prizes and awards. Specifically, I congratulate those excellent students from the Department of Geomatics, Engineering and Land Management, with particular mention to those who are on the Dean's Honor Roll. I wish you continued success.
Department of Geomatics Engineering and Land Management. MSc Geoinformatics. Adam Thomas, for the student obtaining the best project in the MSc Geoinformatics program, sponsored by the Geographic Information Systems Society of Trinidad and Tobago, in the amount of $1,000. MSc Urban and Regional Planning. Matthew McGill, for the most academically outstanding graduate of the MSc Urban and Regional program, sponsored by the Trinidad and Tobago Society of Planners. Certificate and tablet valued at $1,500. Ahmad Ali, for the best student in Level 1 in the BSc Geomatics program, sponsored by BLH1, in the amount of $1,000. Tyrese Joseph, for the Level 1 student producing the best project in the BSc Geomatics program, sponsored by the Institute of Surveyors of Trinidad and Tobago, in the amount of $1,000. Andre Mark Ramgulam, for the Level 1 student producing the best project in the BSc Land Management Valuation Program, sponsored by the Institute of Surveyors of Trinidad and Tobago. Samantha Cannell, for the Level 1 BSc Land Management Valuation student with the highest mark in LMGV 1004 Valuation Methods 1, sponsored by Dr. Michael Sutherland, in the amount of $1,000. Samantha Cannell, for the best student in Level 1 in the BSc Land Management Valuation Program, sponsored by Raymond and Peer, in the amount of $1,000. Anessa Gooding, for the best student in Level 2 in the BSc Geomatics Program, sponsored by GISCAD, in the amount of $1,200. Anas Lunat, for the Level 2 Barbadian student achieving the highest average in geospatial courses, GIS, Remote Sensing, and Digital Photogrammetry, sponsored by GeoOrbis Geospatial Technologies, in the amount of Barbados $500. Daniel Archibald, for the Level 2 student producing the best project in the BSc Geomatics program, sponsored by the Institute of Surveyors of Trinidad and Tobago, in the amount of $1,500. Luis Abdul Melendez, for the most outstanding Level 2 student who entered the degree program through the non-traditional route, for instance, technical institutions, work experience, sponsored by LNS Surveying Services Limited, in the amount of $1,000. Sarah Khan, for the Level 2 student producing the best project in the BSc Land Management Valuation Program, sponsored by the Institute of Surveyors of Trinidad and Tobago, in the amount of $1,500. Sarah Khan, for the Level 2 BSc Land Management Valuation student with the highest mark in LMGV 2002 Valuation Methods 2, sponsored by Dr. Michael Sutherland, in the amount of $1,500. Sarah Khan. For the best student in Level 2 in the BSc Land Management Valuation Program, sponsored by Raymond and Pear in the amount of $1,000. Jonathan Weeks. For the student graduating the best academic performance in the BSc Geomatics program, sponsored by Voltec Engineering and Surveying Services Limited in the amount of $1,300. Chantal Hanley. For the student with the highest mark in GEOM 3020 Professional Internship in the BSc Geomatics program, sponsored by Voltec Engineering and Surveying Services Limited in the amount of $1,000. Sarah Maharaj. For the graduating student with the highest average mark in the combination of professional application courses, cadastral studies, engineering surveying, hydrography, and professional practice, sponsored by L&S Surveying Services Limited in the amount of $2,000. Sarah Maharaj and Jonathan Weeks. For the graduating students producing the best project in the BSc Geomatics program, sponsored by the Institute of Surveyors of Trinidad and Tobago in the amount of $2,500. Varun Birbal. For the student with the most improved overall performance in the BSc Geomatics program, sponsored by Kevin Victor in the amount of $1,000. Gabrielle Tanis. For the graduating student producing the best project in the BSc Land Management Valuation program, sponsored by the Institute of Surveyors of Trinidad and Tobago in the amount of $2,500. Gabrielle Tanis. For the graduating BSc Land Management Valuation student with the highest mark in LMGV 3000 Applied Valuation, sponsored by Prince and Associates in the amount of $2,500. Gabrielle Tanis. For the student graduating with the best academic performance in the BSc Land Management Valuation program, sponsored by Raymond and Pear in the amount of $1,000.
And now, to bring you greetings from the Department of Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering, the Rose Among the Thorns, Dr. Jacqueline Bridge.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis, for that introduction. Awardees. It gives me great pleasure to extend my congratulations to you on behalf of the staff and the student population of the Department of Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering. Your performance so far is a testament to your dedication and hard work. It's especially gratifying considering all the disturbances that took place in the second semester of last academic year. Your performance shows that you have the resilience necessary to become a successful engineer. We look forward to hearing of your great achievements, and we wish you all the best.
Department of Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering. Jordan Privat. For the best student in Level 1 Industrial Engineering, sponsored by the Society of Caribbean Industrial Engineers, SCIE, in the amount of $1,000. Darian Marshall. For the best student in Level 1 Mechanical Engineering, sponsored by Professor Winston Lewis in the amount of $1,000. Shamai Gaspard. For the best student in Level 1 Mechanical Engineering with a minor in Biosystems, sponsored by Professor Edwin Ekwe in the amount of $1,000. Brad Shanklin. For the best student in Level 2 Mechanical Engineering with a minor in Biosystems, sponsored by Steve Ramota in the amount of $1,000. Catherine Lou Atin. For the best student in Level 2 Industrial Engineering, sponsored by the ASME Trinidad and Tobago Group in the amount of $1,000. Kiran Shane Dennis. For the best student in Level 2 Mechanical Engineering, sponsored by Schlumberger in the amount of US $500. Akash Ravi Maharaj. For the student graduating with the best academic performance in the Mechanical Engineering with a minor in Biosystems program, sponsored by the ASME Trinidad and Tobago Group in the amount of $1,000. Danielle Nelson. For the student producing the best Industrial Engineering Special Project, sponsored by the ASME Trinidad and Tobago Group in the amount of $1,000. Danielle Nelson. For the student graduating with the best academic performance in the Industrial Engineering program, sponsored by Damas Limited in the amount of $1,000. Joshua Cullen Ragu. for the student graduating with the best academic performance in the mechanical engineering program, sponsored by Damas Limited, in the amount of $1,000. Joshua Cullen Ragu, for the student obtaining the highest mark in the course Power Plant Engineering, sponsored by the Power Generation Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited, PowerGen, in the amount of $2,000. Joshua Cullen Ragu, for the student producing the best mechanical engineering special project, sponsored by the Association of Professional Engineers of Trinidad and Tobago, APET, in the amount of $2,000. Krishna Maharaj, for the student with the best mechanical with a minor in biosystems special project, sponsored by the Department of Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering, in the amount of $1,000. Tyler Rampersad Singh and Kenrick Mohammed, for the students obtaining the highest mark in the course Energy Engineering, sponsored by the Power Generation Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited, PowerGen, in the amount of $2,000.
The MSc in Project Management resides in the Office of the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering. The students in this program hail from all over the Caribbean. However, the majority are from Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana. As program coordinator, I would like to congratulate the prize recipients for their hard work and their excellence. I would also like to say a heartfelt thank you to the individuals, the organizations which contribute generously every year to these prizes.
MSc Project Management. Bashir Khan, for the student with the best MSc research project in the Project Management program in Guyana, sponsored by UNIPET, in the amount of $1,000. Brent Cebu, for the student obtaining the highest mark in the course Risk Management for Project Managers, sponsored by PromoServe, in the amount of $2,000. Edward Rajmuli, for the best overall Year 1 student in the MSc Project Management program, sponsored by UNIPET, in the amount of $2,000. Giselle Best, for the best Year 2 student in the MSc Project Management program, sponsored by PlipDeco, in the amount of $2,000. Jamila Johnson, for the student with the highest average mark in Contract Management and Contract Law for Project Managers, sponsored by Amera Caribbean Development Limited, in the amount of $1,500. Jamila Johnson, for the student with the highest average mark in the Project and Program Management and Strategic Project Planning courses, sponsored by the UWI Project Management Alumni, in the amount of $1,000. Sanjay Rambaran, for the student with the highest average mark in Procurement Management, Logistics and Contracting, sponsored by Amera Caribbean Development Limited, in the amount of $1,500. Josanne Germain, for the best research project in the MSc Project Management program, sponsored by Project Management, in the amount of $2,000. Isaiah Williams, for the best overall final year student including the research project in the MSc Project Management program, sponsored by UNIPET, in the amount of $3,000. Special prizes. Leanne Morales, for the most outstanding Level 1 student in the Faculty of Engineering, sponsored by the National Energy Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago, in the amount of $2,500. Keron Shane Dennis, for the best student in Level 2 Faculty of Engineering, who is a national of Trinidad and Tobago, sponsored by Nutrien, in the amount of $2,500. Keron Shane Dennis, for the most outstanding Level 2 student in the Faculty of Engineering, sponsored by Nutrien, in the amount of $2,500. Joshua Cullen Ragu, for the most outstanding graduating student in the Faculty of Engineering, sponsored by Professor Winston Lewis, in the amount of $2,500.
Many nights we've prayed with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains long before we knew we could. Oh, yeah. is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe somehow you will. You will when you believe. In this time of fear, when prayer so often proved in vain, hope seems like the summer bird so swiftly flown away. But now I'm standing here, my heart's so full I can't explain, seeking faith and speaking words I never thought I'd say. There can be miracles when you believe. The hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe somehow you will. You will when you believe. They don't always happen when you ask, and it's easy to give in to your fears. But when you're blinded by your pain, can't see the way through the rain, a small but still resilient voice says hope is very near. Oh, when you believe, hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracle you can achieve when you believe. Somehow, I know you will. You will when you believe. You will when you You will when you
At the end of the day, there are students whose performances require special recognition. The faculty would like to take this time to recognize those who have achieved beyond the ordinary by obtaining first-class honors degrees.
The Dean's Honor Roll for students who have obtained first-class honors in the Faculty of Engineering for the academic year 2019-2020. Richard Bernard. Garcelle Edward. Shaquille Felician. Daniel Gladstone. Celine Guljar. Renisha Hercules, Saira R.T. Maharaj, Annalie McLean, Tariq Mohammed, Fayaz Mohammed, Kenrick Mohammed, Victoria Najab, Danielle Nelson, Rishma Prasad, Ravina Prasad, Jody Porter, Joshua Raghu, Jovan Josiah Rajman, Zayan Ramdas, Kiran Ramkisoon, Tyler Rampasad Singh, Aliyah Rashid, Kamau Romano, Stephen Sina, Amir Singh, Varun Sitram, Sashel Solomon, Ian Suknanan, Mikkel Stout, Jamali Tony, Jonathan Weeks, Shannon Woodruff. To all our first class honors students, congratulations.
And now, on behalf of the graduating class 2019-2020, I introduce to you Mr. Jonathan Weeks to give the students' response.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis, for that introduction. Congratulations to my colleagues and fellow graduates. We have persevered, we have persisted, and we have prevailed. As we are aware that quality successes seldom occur where support and cooperation is exempted, I would like to take a moment to first extend a heart and hand of gratitude to everyone who would have contributed to this monumental achievement. I am sure most of you would agree that if gratitude had a distinctly measurable depth, this value would be assigned first and foremost to our family and loved ones. Never mind that to get its effective rate instead of the nominal, we'd probably have to divide by the product of tolerance and patience. But for me, I thank God that the stabilizing constant was love. In light of that, these persons really supported me physically when the going got tough and tougher. They also frequently reminded me of the bigger vision and the reality of this chapter's finish line. In like manner, I remind you, my fellow continuing colleagues, you need not despair. There is a finish line. Continue to run the race well. To our lecturers, some of whom have also become periodic mentors, thank you for your unending commitment to be of service through your knowledge and time investments. To our faculty administrative staff, heads of department, and of course, Dean, thank you for always going above and beyond. Along with our TAs, lab demonstrators, and technicians, we know you embody the chassis of our faculty's vehicular system built to promote learning, innovation, and quality success. And last, but certainly not least, thank you to our 2019 to 2020 Faculty of Engineering Prize donors for your unwavering commitment to our nation's progress, consistently revealed to us in your benevolent donations and contributions. Without you, this virtual ceremony would have been a tad bit too virtual. And now, to you, my fellow graduates and colleagues, thank you. Thank you for persisting. Thank you for manifesting in this regard a facet of your created value. Thank you for choosing to grow through discomfort. Thank you for not giving up. While some may attribute the opposite of success to failure, the reality is, as a friend of mine so neatly put it, the only opponent to one's success is one's decision to quit the process. He was right. In a world where scientific and technological advancements are being made by the day, failure on this front, when placed in confluence with a commitment to continuous improvement through learning, simply becomes an indicator that innovation is truly occurring. So, what shall we make of success then? How may it look for us now? Given our current global conditions, and more so, the neighborhood of our nation, how will success look for us in the distant future? The truth is, I in myself cannot fathom the intricate details which no doubt would accompany the detailed answers to these questions. Nevertheless, at the level of the individual, the brother, the sister, the daughter, the son, the citizen, between you and I muster up the courage to submit to you the compass I have grown to use for my personal success. In my life, and that of those I respect greatly, I've observed that moments of all-encompassing success, or simply put, successes that once attained didn't lack a sense of fulfillment, neither was it with regret, was almost always centered around the impact that person created over the image of themselves that they had generated. In doing further reflection on this, I found that the impact created was almost always directly tied to the value that person added to the people around them, whether it was through the creation of a beneficial process or product, or the emulation of a social provision that was in some part previously lacking. The impact that person made was directly related to the genuine value they had contributed to the lives of those around them. So, at this point you may be thinking to yourself, but wait now, you telling me all this time, all this fella talking about is entrepreneurship? At that one point, you, my friend, would be very correct, except for the many other points that could be derived from this single thought that would then render that conclusion wrong, like my whole second assignment for geodesy with Dr. Miller. But to be fair, there's definitely a correlation between this and true entrepreneurship, but that's a topic for an entirely other talk. The lasting thought to be taken away here is best summarized in the words of Albert Einstein, who admonished persons not to strive to become a person of success, but rather a person of value. Don't just strive to join the world of work with the hopes of making a good living, but strive to join the world of creating what works by doing what makes you live, and by extension would help others to do the same. It doesn't have to be world-changing, like building reusable rockets or fast-forwarding the adoption of affordable electric cars to decelerate the effects of climate change. But it can most definitely begin with you adding value to the lives of persons in the local world around you. Finally, as budding professional engineers, you know how much we love to scale up processes in order to maximize the efficacy of a system. In like manner, the variable required to scale up the true success of many individuals vested in developing in value to contribute value is unity. So, as you go into this next chapter of life, I wish you all the very best of success. As you seek to develop and aspire in value whilst dispensing positive value to those around you, with others around you, not in an untied manner, but rather united. You, your life, your choices, the position of the I begins the difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. And as our ceremony comes to a close, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Cherise Griffith-Charles, the Deputy Dean of Undergraduate Student Affairs, to bring closing remarks.
As we draw to the close of this Prizes and Awards program, I would like to offer a vote of thanks to the many individuals who gave of their best to make this virtual event a successful and awe-inspiring experience. First of all, I thank the many sponsors who, despite the extreme economic challenges of the past year, generously offered to continue to sponsor this year's awardees. I would also like to thank those who graciously and magnanimously jumped in to fill in for those sponsors who could not continue because they were too badly impacted by the economic fallout of the pandemic. I would like to thank our talented entertainers, Jonathan Weeks and Kamau Romano, who are both demonstrations of the well-balanced mixture of excellence in talent and academic performance that we have in the Faculty of Engineering. I wish to thank parents and guardians of all the prize awardees and graduates for supporting and guiding them along this long road to these accomplishments. You deserve special praise and gratitude from your charges, especially since they were unceremoniously sent back home to disturb your peace and quiet as they adapted to online learning. Our Dean and heads of department, for your special words of encouragement and motivation on this occasion, thank you. To our featured speaker, Professor Jupiter, for your thought-provoking, insightful, and inspiring words, thank you. I would like to thank the many gifted and creative individuals for pulling this program together to make a consistent, seamless technical marvel of a production. Last and certainly not least, I would like to thank all of the awardees for giving of your best, showing commitment to a goal and achieving success. You have demonstrated that you can rise to any hurdle and overcome it with innovative thinking and the ability to persevere and find solutions to any problem. You are true engineers. I wish you success in all your future endeavors. Thank you all.
As the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. So this brings us to the end of the virtual prizes and awards ceremony from the Faculty of Engineering for the graduating class 2019-2020. Thank you.